Other than that, this evening we have Tim Collardey. Did I pronounce it right?
It's correct.
Close enough. Collardey. Collardey?
Collardey.
Collardey, okay.
French accent.
Okay. And Tim's here to talk about Native American history and here in Flint. And later this month, Jeff Bean, who's also here, is going to talk about, and I'll let you say it because you said it earlier, the way you want.
African American history and literature in non-traditional settings, and why it needs to be out into primarily white communities.
And that's on what day?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on 15th of December.
That's the third.
That's a Thursday, yeah. So, okay, turn it over to you, Tim. Right on my phone.
So this has been billed the Tendaji Talks, and I would suggest maybe even for the future the title of the Tendaji Teachings, because I knew Tendaji. He was not a talker; he was a teacher, a consummate teacher, and I hope what these talks are about are to teach him, for us to learn. Right. So our teaching tonight focuses somewhat a divergent path from African American experience in the Flint area, with our original roots, our ancestral, community ancestral roots with Native American. And so we're going to look at that tonight. Maybe we're going to see some things that maybe we haven't seen before or understood before, and take away from here something that we can carry forward to another place that will do some great good. So I've done the blessing already outside, respecting the laws of the smoke detectors. This particular room of smudging, and that's the tradition in Native American tradition of burning sage or sweetgrass, and as Christians often do in many Christian traditions, use incense, right, to enter a spiritual realm. I used the sage bundle to smudge, but outside. So know that we're all blessed tonight in the sense and context of this talk. Traditionally, we sit in a circle in Native American traditions, because the circle is a symbol of life. And we teach our young the infinity of life and how it is represented in what we call the medicine wheel. And you may have seen representations of this. Typically you see it in it looks like a pie with 4 slices, and there's a white piece and a yellow piece and a red piece and a black piece, right? And that's medicine wheel. There's no beginning, there's no end. It's infinite. And so you represent members of this community that will infinitely carry forward all that you learn from any teaching that you gain from anyone. And I hope what you'll gain from this teaching tonight is a deeper understanding of the ground, the soil beneath your feet. And it doesn't get any more fundamental than that. Every step we take is on the face of this earth. And this takes us forward to whatever the next thing is, but it's been made possible by all that has come before. And I think quite often in this modern age, we take what has come before for granted. We need to respect our history, our elders, our ancestors. And so, I want to present the deeper local ancestral history of the ground beneath our feet tonight. Where you all came to, from wherever you came, but we are all here. And here was before we arrived. Okay? So we have many names in this life. I was born with the names given to me by my parents, Tim Anthony Collardey. And I'm grateful for those names. I was given more names. Yeah. 2 names that are very special to me that came to me in a vision quest more than 20 years ago. Gray Buffalo. And I envisioned my connection to deep ancestral roots. Some call it blood memory. You may not be able to look it up in genealogy records here in this library. No, it's not. That's really all that matters. My father was born in France. I have grandparents, roots, French Canada. I know there's a lot of French, even the DNA says so. There's this small part that says we're Native American. And in my experience, that has been a very strong memory. And I've never clearly understood it until even recently. I mean, what would you think as a kid watching TV on a black and white TV set in the 1960s? This guy painting canoes, birch trees, and telling stories of Native Americans in the New World and such, and being drawn to that, and not having any other family that suggests you're part of that. When you listen to things that tap you on the shoulder, even though no one else has said or done anything to suggest the same thing, what do you do with that? And at age 5 or 6, it was what I call my first awakening. And there have been many other awakenings as I've gone forward. And so this history of our local roots is not about me, but it's about us, and it's about the soil, and it's about whatever it was that brought each one of us here, for whatever reason. And you're here now. Your feet are planted on this earth, what we call Flint. And you're here trying to figure out what life means. You being you, Flint being Flint. And you're trying to conjoin the two of those things. And I've wrestled with that concept Now, most people, and I invite anybody who's got a question or a comment, let me know. Go on to it. Yeah.
My epiphany came one day when I was sitting and watching TV, and I got sick and tired of John Wayne killing off the Native Americans.
Marion Morris.
And
so
his
by
real
that
name
time-
was Michael.
Marion Morris. Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
And about the same time, because I'd grown up in Detroit near WXYZ radio station,
Yeah.
where the
Channel
Lone
7.
Ranger and Tonto originated. And so one day, somebody in my community, which is, we have heavily Native American background,
Okay.
somebody came up with this joke that the Indians were slaughtering off everything, and they had gotten down to the Lone Ranger and Tonto. And the Lone Ranger looked at Tonto and he said, well, I guess we're going to have to face this. And Tonto said, who the hell are you talking to?
What do you mean me?
I remember the show F Troop,
Oh, yeah.
and we had to kind of like sneak it from my mother when we were watching it, my brother and I, because she didn't like the treatment of everything on that show. She just thought it was bad. But I remember she was really particular about the Indians and how they were portrayed and everything. And I remember finding out and asking her out why and everything, and she explained one time she found out doing some record searching and everything that her great-grandfather married a Black Crow out in New York, upstate New York area, and that was his second wife, I guess. So she goes, we have some native blood in us, and we should be respectful of our heritage, and that was the only time it was ever mentioned. Only time when it came to that show. And then I remember when my grandmother passed away, cleaning up the attic, and there was the picture of this woman, she's beautiful. But we have the dark hair, and it's just like you see the genetics. So.
Well, again, I go back to this concept of blood memory. Regardless of what anybody else says or does, or DNA tests might show you know something deeper in your soul that tells you your most truth. And we know this even to this day, but especially further back when mores were more constricted. People married outside the race. That was horrible. And they wanted to bury that in an instant. But we know from history, in particular the French came here to explore and to trap and so on. But they were away from their women up here at the time. And we know human nature. And the women available at the time were indigenous. And so there are many people alive today who are of mixed race, as I am. And we are called métis. And that is an old French word for mixed. And I like to say we're mixed up. And I think we're all mixed up. I think we all got a little bit of this, that, and whatever in us. Our faces may show one thing, but I never judge a person at face value because I know you are more than the color of that face. Yes.
I'd like to hear information you have on the Carriage Town burial sites.
So in 2008, and I give a lot of people a lot of credit for this please, welcome. In 2008, Carriagetown district, just west of here downtown, construction workers, machines bumped into something that didn't look right. They stopped their work. Because something told them it would be wrong to continue. They had dug up the remains, bones, ancestral community ancestors. People you don't too far behind. But there they were, buried in a site now called Carriagetown. And the authorities in here at the time contacted, the best they knew was the local Chippewa tribe. They also had the name Ojibwe. They had many names. And they came and they recognized the situation. And they knew these elders, these ancestors, the remains needed to be relocated. And they did. And they were allowed to do that. And I give them a lot of credit, all people involved with that. Because we have a situation right now, it's standing around North Dakota.
A situation expanding around?
Where they want to purge the land again. They want to put an oil pipeline under a river. It's the water source for an Indian reservation. And they're standing in the ground. So,
How many individuals were actually uncovered, or
I believe there were more than
Uninterned?
60 individuals, and it's, of course, you can imagine that ancestors traditionally bury their dead in mounds. It wasn't individual graves the way Europeans are used to do it. They were in mounds, and so we see these mounds across, especially all the Midwest. And there are dozens and dozens of ancestors buried that way, and you can't distinguish one much from another. We know we're able to date them because of the medicine bags that they're buried in. And we're able to DNA that and say that corn, and I have tobacco seeds that I grow to this day that are over 2,000 years old, from ancestors 2,000 years old. And that was from a grave from a Miami tribe in Indiana that were given. And so that's the sort of thing that reconnects us to our roots, our earth, soil beneath.
Where were they reinterred here?
I don't know.
Did they carbon date the individuals there? What year, what time, and what, you know, offhand?
It's believed that they go back to the original people, and most people think of who are often labeled the Chippewa, who are also called the Ojibwe here in the area, as the first Indians of the area. That was the first encounter of Europeans entering the territory, but those were not the first people. There's a terrible story, and this is documented in Genesee County Historical Society from many different sources, including oral history from different Native American sources. The first people in this area known were called the Sauk, or the Sac. And they were driven from East Canada, west, 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 and eventually they found refuge in a place today called Tama I. And they actually bought their own land. It's not a government reservation. It's their own land. They're very proud of that. A man there named Jerry Youngbear gave me seeds from corn grown here in Flint.